This is lesson 4 from the book Tested and Approved by Tom Lane. In this video session, I'm going to give you some summarized thoughts to apply to the circumstances of your life. Are you ready? Here we go. This lesson is titled, Success is a Process. The Bible gives us a great promise in Jeremiah 29:11. It tells us that God has plans for us, and His plans are for good and not for evil, to give us a hope and a future. God has put in each of us an appetite to know and fulfill our purpose. Our life is essentially a journey that takes us in search of our purpose. As we discover our purpose, the journey becomes a destination that gives us a place to deploy our gifts as we serve and operate in God's purpose. Success is not measured by the size of our salary, our title, or the accolades or rewards we receive in the process of our life journey. Success, from God's perspective, is the discovery of His purpose for our life and is reflected in our dedicated deployment into serving and functioning in that purpose. You and I are on that journey. Along the way, we'll face obstacles that must be overcome. We'll have our character tested, shaped, and developed. We'll grow in our faith as we learn to lean on God and His Word more than our own understanding. There'll be times when the journey takes us down roads that don't make sense. You'll question what you're doing because the landscape is different than you expected. You might think the turn you took has navigated you away from the path you were on to wealth, fame, prestige, and status. Your every instinct is telling you this road is not the one that will lead you to the fulfillment of your purpose as you had imagined it. In times like this, you'll be tempted to abandon the path that you're on to return to the fast lane of success. Your internal voice may be telling you that this isn't the road that will get you where you want to go, but be slow to change. Trust God to lead you. Success is a process that involves hearing God's plan, believing that He blesses and rewards us when we seek His purposes, and those who are convinced that He is leading them in a certain way, He will guide, lead, protect, and instruct as we set to obey Him. It is a process, and we must not forget that He is in charge. Here's another way to say that. If He's not in charge, then we're in charge. Or even worse, we're being driven along by the influences of the world or by spiritual forces that do not have our God-given purpose as their destination. The path God leads us down will hone our skills, deepen our faith, and teach us how to fly using faith instruments through the storms of life. Those lessons are a necessary part of the path to our success. We all would like an easy path to success, but that is not usually how God leads us. He teaches us how to walk with Him in difficult situations when we can't see clearly what is ahead. When we are disoriented by circumstances, we can't be cavalier about our life and the decisions or circumstances that we are facing. If we are going to discover and walk in God's purposes, we must be diligent, faithful, locked in on doing what we hear and feel God directing, and not allow ourselves to make independent decisions that take us off on a course of our own choosing. We need mentors we trust, to whom we will be accountable, and we need to deepen and strengthen our faith, trusting in God to lead us and bless us to accomplish His purposes. I have a friend who was taking flying lessons and had progressed to the point of flying solo, meaning he could fly by himself as he was learning the process of flying across the country. He was supposed to file a flight plan, but this day he didn't think it was necessary. He was going up for just a short time. A flight plan was to tell his trainers where he was going and when he would be back to the airport. The flight plan also told authorities where to look in case there was a problem. Did I say he was just learning to fly? Well, my friend got confused, lost his bearings, and couldn't navigate back to the airport he took off from. He flew around looking for the airport until he ran out of fuel and had to put the plane down in the desert. When he didn't return in a reasonable amount of time, the authorities had to guess where he went since he hadn't filed a flight plan. They weren't sure where to look because they didn't have the flight plan. In his attempt to find the airport, he'd flown hundreds of miles off course in a direction they would not expect him to have flown, so they weren't searching where he had landed the plane. He was finally able to contact a commercial airline that flew over him before his battery went dead while he was stranded on the ground, and they radioed his location. That's how he was rescued. Is that how you're flying your life? Without a flight plan? Without accountability? Not following proper processes? Maybe a little careless in your efforts? My friend was fortunate. He did not crash the plane or kill himself. He learned a valuable lesson that day. Success is a process. It doesn't just happen. It requires a diligent commitment to follow all the steps with no shortcuts. Be diligent to follow all the steps with diligence on your way to success. Fulfilling your purpose is part of God's plan, and it takes diligent effort. Proverbs 12:27 tells us that the precious possession of a man is diligence. Don't cut steps. Here's a coaching thought for us out of this lesson. Do you know God has a plan for your life? How are you defining success in your own life? Are you at this moment confused by your circumstances and feeling a little panicky? Are you cutting steps to get to some desired results, thinking that if you can get there faster, that's what you need to do? Is there something you need to be more diligent in as you pursue success? Remember, success is a process, and God will lead you there.